Hi, everybody. It's Manucha, and you're at the Moms and Crafters YouTube channel where I share fun and doable crafts for all age groups. So, today I'm going to show you how to make these ear dry clay coasters that are really fun to make for yourself. You can decorate them however you'd like, and it is really a beginner ear dry clay craft. So, we are going just before I start, I'm going to tell you that you can find all links to materials and stuff in the description of this video. So, we are starting with a ball of clay. I really just pulled off a random size clump and I put levelers on either side. You can actually just use books as long as they're the same height or roughly the same height. And I'm just rolling it out to an even slab. As you really do want something like coasters to be perfectly even. And that's why I do recommend using those height guides because you need it to be balanced. Now, to cut these out, we are using cookie cutters. It is one of my favorite things to use because it's really easy to just get the shape right. You don't have to worry about water and shaping and stuff. And we are just cutting out our coasters. And of course, you can remush up that slab and make more coasters. I do recommend looking for cookie cutters that are closer to the 4-inch range. Mine are about 3-inch, just for a better coaster size, but this worked fine as well. Now you're going to dry it thoroughly, let it dry, ear dry, and on both sides, because you do usually need to flip it to dry the other side. You're going to get rid of that little bit of fluff on the bottom with a little bit of sandpaper. It's very easy to do this. This is not complicated because it's a soft enough material that it just sands off easily with a few strokes. So again, you don't have to do this if you're doing this project with kids, but it does lend it a much more polished look. So again, your coasters have to be thoroughly dry at this stage. Make sure there's no residue left from your sanding and you're going to paint it. So I used a glossy acrylic paint. If you're doing this project with younger kids, you can use paint sticks, you can use washable paints, you can really use whatever you'd like. The glossy acrylic that I used went on with good coverage after 2 coats, and because it's glossy, I did not need to seal it afterwards. So go ahead and paint that thoroughly. On some of them, I also painted the edges. The other ones, I'm going to finish the edges differently and let it dry in between coats. You don't need to let it dry thoroughly. You need to let it dry for like about an hour, but then you will want to let the last coat dry very well. Like I always recommend just going overnight. And again, you can seal it with dishwasher safe Mod Podge, but because it has a good glossy finish, I did not bother doing that with this project. And of course, if you want to really get fancy, you can use UV resin to seal it. There are many different ways to seal clay. Um, I did not show this on camera, but after I did my two base layers of paint, my two solid colors, I added on hearts and stripes and different designs. I do recommend again, like penciling it in because I had to go and correct it with another layer of paint and another layer of paint. But anyway, I will show you how I did the sun. So again, I had Father's Day in mind and I had this beautiful flower coaster and I wanted it to feel realistic. I'm sure there are some dads who love flower coasters, but I wanted it to feel like something that, most dads would enjoy and that most kids would feel like they can make for their dad. So I turned one of them into, looking a little bit more like a medallion, and one of them I turned into a sun. And to add detail, I used either different colors of paint or paint markers. Now, with paint markers, you want to look for something that has really good coverage, um, but it doesn't have to be crazy fancy. Just make sure it has good coverage. Let it dry completely. Use an acrylic paint marker, and it just gives you much more detail. But I did use paint, and so I found myself touching up a lot, which I did not go on camera, which I did not show on camera. I did, however, show you how I did the sun by just painting an orange circle in the center. Obviously, if you are getting your cutter specifically for this project, go and get a better size, better shapes. But I have been on a craft with what I have kind of spree. If you would see what I have, you would completely understand it. I have an insanely stocked craft room. Anyway, so on some of them, I used a gold marker. Again, just a regular paint marker. I do very much recommend Posca brand to gild the edges. If you add a lot of details like this, you might want to seal it. But again, I did not seal mine because the main coaster was nice and glossy. So there we're adding the face. Again, I didn't pencil it in. You might prefer to do it that way, especially if you want to get it right the first try. And that is all. Your dry clay coasters are complete. There's so many different things you can make with clay. And even just with cookie cutters, if you have larger cutters, you can make things like trinket dishes by just curving them over a bowl by letting them dry. There is just so much you can do with air dry clay without crazy advanced skills. If you enjoyed this video, you know what to do. Subscribe, hit the like button so more people can see it. Comment if you have any questions. And once again, check out the description of this video for the blog post with a printable tutorial as well as all the supplies I used.